Hello, I'm Peter Towers, Managing Director of ESS BIZTOOLS. Welcome to this overview on the ESS BIZTOOLS Business Advisory Services Starter Package, which has been designed to assist accounting and bookkeeping firms to offer advisory services to SMEs, charities, not-for-profits, and sporting organisations. We've had a couple of people ask us for a bit more information on some of the additional products that you can link onto as part of this subscription. So I'm going to show you those in this session. And if anyone who is logged on who's wanting to ask questions, please type them in to the chat box and I will answer them during this presentation. If you have a question later on when you're watching this recording and you'd like to ask us some more information, please do so. Please send me an email, peter@essbiztools.com.au, and I will get a reply back to you. So just bear with me now. We're going to bring up the ESS BIZTOOLS website, which is now on your screen. And so this is the website, the overall combined website. We've got 4 packages. We start over here on the right-hand side with advisory intro. That's for bookkeepers and accountants who have not undertaken the delivery of advisory services before. You want to get started, this is the product that you could start with. The starter package is the one we're really featuring today and some comments. It's most definitely for bookkeepers and for accountants who are wanting to deliver advisory services. Advanced package includes 90% of the material that ESS BIZTOOLS has produced and will really assist you to offer a wide range of advisory services. We have bookkeeping firms as well as many accountants subscribing to that package. And the financial forecasting package includes everything that ESS BIZTOOLS has produced, plus some additional information relating to the responsibilities and duties of chief financial officers. And I share with you some of my insights that I gained as the chief financial officer, company secretary of a listed public company. And the big benefit, though, is you also receive a subscription to Plan Guru software, which is a fantastic budgeting and cash flow software program developed by an American accountant, and his son now runs that business. You have the right to utilize that software with 10 of your clients at any one time. Normally, you're only giving access to 3 of your clients at any one time without paying an extra subscription, but we've negotiated that with Plan Guru. And also, as part of this subscription, you are mentored and trained on the utilization of crowdsourced funding and other products, including predictive accounting, so that you can do some exams to become accredited as a predictive accountant. So that's the brief overview of what we've got. On the left-hand side here, we have the subscribed content columns. This is the material that's contained within the total ESS BIZTOOLS package, and some of it is included in each of the packages. In the middle here, we have these little boxes, and we click on them, we get details of what's contained within those packages. We're concentrating today on the Business Advisory Services Starter Package, so I've just brought that up so that we can have access to it. So I want to show you, first of all, the succession planning. Succession planning comes with a range of material, and I'm going to download the content. And as we're doing that, I'm going to So you're now able to view the list of the contents within succession planning. Within each of our product packages, there is a procedure control form, which I've brought up on the screen now. And just to make sure that you're able to see that, I'm just bringing up a new share. So the procedure control form is there. And the idea of this is that it guides you through the process. Each one of our product packages has a quotation and a proposal form, which you can use if you wish. If you don't wish to use it, that's all right. If you have your own. And we're referring back to the paper, in this case, succession planning, paper 570039, which you can click on and read. And that's there to make sure that before you offer advice in this area, that your team have read the paper and understand what's included. And then we go through the process. What work do you need to do before you start undertaking this project? We work out the program timetable, and that's linked to BAS 22401. Incidentally, the BAS is our abbreviation for Business Advisory Service. It's got nothing to do with the other BAS that the tax office use. We were using it before them, I believe, from memory. And there's then some information to go to your client, because succession planning is a complicated process. There's a lot of potential areas to look at. So there's questionnaires, and I'm going to refer to a couple of these in a moment. Strategic planning. It's to give your client an overview of what it's all about. Now, you might decide not to send them all that. That's up to you. See here, there's a questionnaire for directors. They might not have directors as such. They might just be all internal people. But the whole purpose is that you're going to get some feedback as to what people think, so that you can start developing strategies for succession for your client. And that's just the overview on that we're looking at today. There's information, and I'm just going to a couple of these forms now, and then we'll move on. There's some material on the family charter or constitution that you may have, and I'll just bring that up and make sure that that is being shared with you. There's some notes on family charters. A lot of small businesses will not have a family charter or a constitution, but there are quite a number of them around Australia. In fact, there's a National Association of Family Businesses that are very keen to see every family business have a constitution or a charter. So that's just leading you through to make sure you're asking the questions and exploring it with your client. So I now want to move on to the next component of the quick review that we're doing on the 3-star, on the number 3 starter package today. I want to bring up buying a business, and I will just check that we're showing it to you. Okay, so here's a list of what's in buying a business. We'll download the content. Now, obviously, everything I'm doing is what you would be doing as a subscriber to ESS BIZTOOLS. You'll notice we have a procedure control form for buying a business. There's one for each of our product packages. And there's 32 or 33 of those. Thinking about buying a business, purchasing a business. So let's just go to thinking about buying a business. We just click on that. And we then have the form. Now, this is a form you could hand to your client to fill in if you like, or you could sit there and just go through the questions, get the answers, get a feel for whether they've got the understanding of what goes on in running a small business. They got any idea of the hours they're going to have to work and when those hours might have to be worked, early in the morning, late at night, weekends. And what additional training do they need to undertake? Do they know anything about this business? Or do they just think it's a good idea? I had a client once who'd been a managing director of a very large company, retired to tropical Queensland and bought a supermarket. And he obviously didn't understand the difference between gross profit percentage and markup because he was doing his markup on gross profit percentages. He was smart enough to know when the bank balance started to go the wrong way that he needed to talk to someone, and he rang me. I went to his business and looked at it, and we soon worked out that's what he was doing. And he said to me, this has always been done by accountants in the past for me. So that was a bit of an advertisement for what accountants could do to help businesses. I think they need to be encouraged to look at their competitors. I've come across people that have gone into business and had problems, and I've asked them about their competitors. Oh, we haven't really looked at them. Well, I think that's one of the first things you should be encouraging your client to do. Go and have a look at the competitors. What are they doing well? What are they not doing so well? What was your experience as a customer in their business? You've got to get your client to understand that they've got to beat the standard of service being offered by competitors. And is the business location satisfactory? So is car parking all right? Is public transport all right? Have they made some inquiries whether the main roads are going to change the roads or streets in the area? And that can be a massive disruption for a business. Now, you might not always get the right answer, or the client mightn't get the right answer there by going off and asking, but at least I think they should be making inquiries of the council or whoever they're dealing with. We have an article on buying shares in a company, which I think can be dangerous. So we have details here of a full summary which we've prepared to assist you. Who's the company? What's its corporate structure like? Who are the shareholders? Who are the directors? Because your client, to get into a business buying shares in a company, may well be getting locked in. And what's the financial position of this company? Has there been share issues allocated? Are there some shares not to be diluted by further issues? What's that going to do to your client's overall interest in this company? Is there shareholders' agreements or term sheets that have been signed? You need to make sure that your client's read them, and so have you and the lawyer acting for your client. Incidentally, one of the big points that we have to continually emphasize to SMEs is don't sign anything without seeing you as the accountant, bookkeeper, and most definitely their lawyer. And make sure they're dealing with a commercial lawyer, not someone that's basically acting for road accidents or injury claims, very important as they are, but there are definitely skills needed in that area, and there are definitely skills needed in the commercial area. So that might give you an idea of the forms that we have embedded within ESS BIZTOOLS. There's a few thousand of them. They don't come up for each product package, of course, and you might not use some of them ever, even if you remain with ESS BIZTOOLS for a decade. Some of them will not come into play with your clients. So hopefully that gives you an idea of the type of material which we've got there to assist you to be able to attend to some of these tasks to help a client to somehow or other. I've gone back to Accountant's Minute then. I hope everyone's seen Accountant's Minute. This is our publication. This is in the public section of our website. I was looking at that before we went to air. That's why it's come back on. So I'll just bring that up. So if you haven't seen it, you have an appreciation of what it's about. And I'll just check that you're still receiving that, all right? I think you should be. We produce this article called Accountant's Minute every fortnight. We missed last week because of Easter, but we'll be releasing the next one on Tuesday of next week. This one was called Delivering, pardon me, Fiscal Management Skills, a Vital Role. This particular product called Accountant's Minute is only directed at bookkeepers and accountants. It's not to give to your clients, but it's going through discussing issues which we think are important. And you can obtain these just by going onto the ESS BIZTOOLS website and clicking on to Accountant's Minute on the top of the first page. So that's there's the Accountant's Minute where you click on at the top there. And I'll just go back into the members section, which you get access to with your password that we've issued. If you have any questions and you'd like me to ask them to ask me, please just complete the question into the chat and I will get back to you in a moment. I also want to show you Business Plus. I think communications are very important for clients. And 17 years ago, we started writing a weekly newsletter. Sorry, a monthly newsletter. Geez, weekly would be a huge task. A monthly newsletter, which we upload to our website on the second Friday of a month at 12 noon AEST. And we send an email and a short video to our subscribers to tell you that it's there. Now, we've been writing this for 17 years. It's now produced each month. For a long time, it was not produced in January, but things happen in January these days. So we're producing it in January as well. So we're up to edition number 236, which I've now clicked on. And I'm now going to bring that up. So there it is there, issue 236. And I'll just make sure that you're getting that. Yes, you should be. So we produce the newsletter. It's normally 4 A4 pages. It has normally 4 to 6 articles. And we try to have articles across the total spectrum of SMEs. So some are looking at buying a business, some are, or starting a business. Some are looking at growing their businesses. Some are looking to look at succession and retirement type thinking. And others are just in the middle, and hopefully they're wanting to continue to scale up. Now, scale up frightens some people because they think we're talking millions. We might not be. Their current turnover might only be 700,000. Going to 1.2 million within 2 years is scaling up. But their turnover currently might be 3 million, of course, and they're looking to go to 5 million in 2 years. That's scaling up. And of course, scaling up can be a lot bigger. But whatever you do, scaling up is important to advise your clients about, because cash flow becomes a continual problem. Because as businesses grow, they need more cash, don't they? They hire people who are not productive for the first few weeks or few months. they expand into a new set of premises, and not only do they have to outfit those premises and pay the rent and the bond and electricity bonds, but they also need to buy in the stock, and depending on so they tie up a lot of money. So we're looking at all of those issues. So let's just go through what was in the March edition. We talked about research and development. Lodgements are due soon. They're due in 26 days, because the 30th of April is the deadline date for the main return, which goes to Oz Industry to be lodged. This is the one that really identifies step by step the research and development projects that have been undertaken during the previous fiscal year, which obviously in this time is 2022-23. So what did they do? It doesn't matter if it's only one project or 20 projects. That needs to be lodged by the 30th of April. So if you've got a client who you knew undertook research and development in the 22-23 fiscal year, that you know they'll be relying on you to get that form lodged, and you haven't heard from them, I suggest you give them a ring and follow them up. Payments to associates. There are different rules that apply in research and development, so we've given you a warning about that relating to payments to associates. Even though the company may well be utilising accrual accounting, it doesn't work when it comes to payments to associates for research and development. You can only claim what has been the actual cash payment, and your client needs to be able to document that. So we have a warning there, because there's some comments getting made that the tax office are particularly concerned about checking those payments this year. So we're having a bit of fun. We said capital raising is easy for SMEs. I've had a few people tell me it's easy, but I've never seen it easy for anyone. I think it's a myth. So we've detailed some comments there, because this was our introduction to talk about Section 708 of the Corporations Act. I really wrote it at the time because Paul Keating was in the headlines, and I haven't actually been a fan of Paul Keating during his political career, but one thing I do give him credit for, he introduced 708 over 40 years ago, and that was the first opportunity for small companies to be able to raise money from the public, even though it really was restricted to family and friends, very close friends, people you basically went to kindergarten with. And initially you could only raise $1 million, and you could only approach 20 people, which made it a bit difficult. That law got changed a few years later when John Howard became the federal treasurer, and it hasn't changed since. So these days, your client can utilise 708, but there's no advertising, no marketing under this particular capital raising opportunity. And the maximum amount that can be raised is $2 million from a maximum of 20 investors. But one of the big changes they made from the original legislation is that you can basically talk to 1,000 people if you want to, as long as they fit the guidelines. And we've summarised them in here. They have to be people who have had previous contact with the person, or some professional or other connection between the person making the offer and that person, or by their statements or actions, they indicate they're interested in these types of offers. Excuse me. I think one of the key things that we can do today, which we couldn't do 40 years ago, is make sure that our clients have already developed a website, because a website enables the company to be able to communicate with the world, so people can get an understanding. And we may well have some people who have seen the website and who have made contact with the company to find out more details about what they're doing, or to buy products from them, could fit under this statements or actions of persons that indicated that they are interested in these types of offers. All of this should be documented, especially with the 20 that are accepted or indicate they wish to subscribe. I've personally have never heard that ASICs followed this sections up, but it's in the Corporations Act. They could follow up, especially if there was ever a complaint made by someone. Investors require documentation. And what I omitted to mention before, at the end of each of these articles, there's a call to action. If you would like to discuss capital raising for your business, please do not hesitate to contact the accountant in an organisation that you normally deal with. Now, you can edit this material if you wish. So if you wanted to change that to just say bookkeeper, you can do so. If you wanted to put someone's name in, a couple of our clients actually go through and put the names of their people that they want to be the experts in various components of offering advisory services. So they might have Mary Smith's names there, or Jim Green, or whoever. Investors require documentation. The law doesn't set out what a investor under Section 708 must be given, but I think the marketplace has set that, and I've summarised that. We need a business plan, predictive accounting reports, budgets, cash flow forecasts, projected balance sheets. We need a valuation of the company, even if it's only done by the directors, with your assistance, of course. Statement of how what the capital is going to be used for. Details of any other capital that's been raised in the previous 12 months, bearing in mind that the company can only raise $2 million in the period, and confirmation that the company is not going to exceed the 50 shareholder limit. That would be rather embarrassing, wouldn't it, for ASIC to come back and say, hang on, you've got to give all that money back, or a substantial amount of it, because you've exceeded the 50 shareholder limit, which still applies, obviously, for private companies. So that might, and what we're trying to do is we've got here, if you would like to discuss with us the documentation required as discussed in this article, please don't hesitate to contact us. Businesses only need an annual set of accounts and a tax return. I've said that's a myth, because if they're in business, I think they need regular financial data, and that's really a hallmark of what ESS BIZTOOLS is all about. And we quoted Paul Robson there, the CEO of MYOB, who was commenting about some of the problems with startups. And he said that the real problem he sees is managing general cash flow. And he said that a lot of these problems occur after 6 months. So people get started, they've got a pool of money to get started in their business, but then they find that they got debtors, they got some creditors wanting to be paid very promptly, especially in that first 6 months. They may have built up stock. Sales mightn't be as large as what they expected. They've got all sorts of problems, and they've got no idea of managing that general cash flow. Our whole basis for being a business at ESS BIZTOOLS is to help bookkeepers and accountants to be able to deliver advisory services. So this is all part of what we're really talking about here. We don't say much about tax returns or the taxation advice. There's plenty of other people write about that. We try to have a comment each edition on what does it mean. We talk about current ratios and current market value, just to give people some information of some of the dialogue that you might be communicating to them with, so they understand it. Here's the one thinking about being a business person. This is directed at someone that's thinking about going into business. Now, if we frighten them, I think that's probably not a bad idea. I think some people go into business far too early. I think a lot of them go into business without a proper appreciation of what's involved. And I think right from the start, you should be selling them a full service package. Not saying we'll see you at the end of the year, based on what the CEO of MYOB has got to say and what the statistics are saying. A lot of them are going to be broke by then. They need to be encouraged to recruit a bookkeeping or accounting firm as a virtual CFO from day one, I think, and be told what the cost is going to be. And if they can't afford it, they shouldn't be going into business, because bigger companies don't run without accountants working on a full-time basis. You'd be offering to do the services, of course, on a part-time basis. But there's certain things that should be done. And our whole basis is there's daily, weekly, and monthly activities that should be undertaken within a business. Is your capability statement up to date? Is yours? Always reminds me I've got to go away and update mine when I write something about capability statements. It's very important. And everyone, remember, this newsletter is targeted at the SMEs. Is their capability statement up to date? And we got some in. We then have attention accountants. This is basically a reference library. We've got other material within ESS BIZTOOLS. You can see what it says there, which gives you a lot more information about that particular subject than what's contained in this newsletter. It all come about, we didn't do that until about 10 years ago, when a new subscriber rang me one day and said, I know a lot about exporting now that I didn't know before, and I didn't know what he was talking about. And I said, oh, yeah. And he said, your newsletter, I sent it out to, I think he told me 8,000 people. Well, it was a lot of people, without reading it. And I got a phone call a day later, and this client is talking to me about exporting. And I said, no, I never sent you anything on exporting. He said, I got a newsletter from you. No, you never got it from me. That afternoon, he got another phone call, basically the same. And he thought, geez, I better go and see what these people are reading. And then he said, oh, that Peter Towers. So I never read that newsletter. And in the newsletter, we had an article on the Export Market Development Grant. And what he didn't know, which I was amazed at, is that first client was actually exporting, but he never claimed the Export Market Development Grant. He didn't know his client in depth, did he? And I never really got to the story on the second client, but he had 3 people who contacted him in total before he sat down and read the newsletter, and then followed up and read the papers we've got in the system on Export Market Development Grant. So when he rang me, he said, I'm just telling you this happened. And I said, okay, we'll do something about it. So what we did, we now include virtually as a reference article, material that is in ESS BIZTOOLS that we think gives you a bit more in-depth knowledge on an article that we've written in the newsletter. So we suggest you click onto that and read it, so that if a client does contact you, you've got everything at your fingertips to be able to talk to them about Section 708, or how private companies operate, or the pitfalls of starting a business, or the research and development payment to associates. But that might open up a discussion about research and development in general. We suggest you remove that before you send it to a client. You also remove the ESS BIZTOOLS badging there and put your own. And you could fill that space up if you wanted to. Some of our subscribers do, especially those in regional and country areas, because there's always other activities on in those areas. The state government departments might be doing something, or there's something on, or they've just got some of their own news. One of their clients has won the Business Person of the Year award, or one of their young accountants has just finished the PY exams, or I'm showing I'm out of date, what that's currently called, but I hope you follow what I'm getting at. You can have your own message there. You can attach some additional pages if you want to. Some people put at various times an extra 2 pages because they want to talk about issues confronting the business. That's the newsletter, which is uploaded to our website on the second Friday of a month, and you can then access it. What I never showed you then, we also produce a special newsletter on the federal budget. The next morning, we produce a special newsletter on the federal budget as it affects SMEs. So we've had a run through today of some of the issues that people have asked me about. If you have any others you would like to have clarified, we have a couple more of these updates that we're producing for bookkeepers and accountants who are interested in offering these types of services. We really hope you are, because this really gives you the opportunity to offer advisory services to your clients. You've all read the comments that the tax commissioner made about 18 months ago on my reckoning, September 22, where he issued a warning to accountants and bookkeepers about the changes that were going to occur, he said, within the next 3 years. So 18 months of those 3 years have gone. I think we're really facing the key dates now. Advisory services gives you the opportunity to offer a broader range of professional services to your clients to help your clients survive. It also offers interesting and challenging work for your internal talent, your younger accountants, or in some cases, they might be older accountants, but to give some variety so that the compliance work, the tax return, is seen as the final product of the whole process, but that the process of delivery to clients should be enhancing the concept of 52 weeks of the year service, not just once a year, so that your firm would have some involvement, maybe on a weekly basis. I suspect that you would design the forms for them to use for the weekly performance and profitability estimate report. And they might not require any more assistance if they have a capable office manager who can prepare that. But most definitely at the end of the month, the monthly accounts should be prepared, reconciled, compared to the budget variation report, and an analysis of the balance sheet. Debtors days outstanding. How does that compare to the budget? Creditors, is there special requirements to make sure that some groups of creditors are paid strictly within the 30 days because they're key suppliers, and they may cut off supply unless they're paid within that 30 days. What's that do to the client's cash flow forecast? So that's an overview of what this process is all about. We have further webinars over the remaining weeks to the 1st of May, and we have sent to you the program for those. I thought I had them here at my fingertips, but unfortunately I don't. If you've got any questions or comments, please don't hesitate to contact me, peter@essbiztools.com.au, or telephone 074724 11118. Stay safe. Have a great day. Goodbye.